I hope we are live. Just a few people. I hope everyone can hear me. Morning to everyone saying good morning. I'm guessing that's mainly America. Hope the audio is working, otherwise that'll be awkward. I don't want to talk too much in case it's not working. Is it working? Anyone let me know? Unless it's not working, then you don't know what I'm saying. Working, right, and that includes sound. Good. Right, so morning everyone. Afternoon for me, but morning. Rainy Florida. I made a stupid comment. I read that before I came on. I said that's a good thing because of the fires, and then my husband corrected me. That's the wrong place, isn't it? Oops. I'm getting mixed up. Hear me clearly. Great. I'm just going to keep talking then. Delaware. Monica. Hello everyone. It's lovely to see. I was worried no one was going to be here. Right. I was just thinking of having a bit of a chill first stream back kind of thing. I've streamed before, but it's a very long time ago. So just basically some things I'm working on to just kind of do it with you instead of just doing it on my own. Why not? So I'm currently working on, I guess, a new design. So I just thought I would. There's quite a bit of time consuming weaving, so why not just do that together? And hopefully chat a little bit. I'd like to get a little bit closer to people. Norfolk, England. I'm not sure where that is, as in, of course, England, but north, south, I'm actually not sure. South Illinois from Delaware said that, working perfectly. Right, plus I was gonna get used to this again. I'm gonna probably be awkward because I haven't done this in a very long time, and I naturally just am very awkward. But I hope everyone's doing well. Ohio, USA. I actually just packaged an order that's going to America. Most of my orders go to America, so not weird, but have your book. When are you publishing a new one? Thank you, first of all. I don't know. I would like to, but nothing's been brought up about any new book. I have a couple of ideas of ones I would like to make. I'd like to make a sequel to that one. So another way I come here when I have a few ideas for designs, and I also have another idea of a book I really would love to make. I think it would be a really good idea for a book. I think it is. It's an idea I've had for many years. It's something I've not seen anyone else do before, but I haven't really got around to kind of work on it myself because, you know, there's so many other things. Ajax, Canada. Ajax. Where are you? Me, I'm in England, West Yorkshire, Castleford now. Used to be, I was going to say Huddersfield, that is correct, but that's a long time ago. Dewsbury, Leeds. But Castleford now, in West Yorkshire. Just a second, getting tangled up. I hope the volume is alright as well. It's not too low or anything, or high for that matter. Ajax near Toronto. Alright, okay. I've heard of Toronto before. I've heard of Ajax, but not as a place. It's a cleaning brand in Denmark, I think. It's, yeah, it's gotta be. I'm positive. Georgia. Interesting. I don't know why, but I find interesting like where everyone is, where they come from. Can hear you clearly, sweet D. Lovely, thank you. I'm doing it off screen as well. Clever. You'd think I'd be used to working on camera, but that's the awkward part I was talking about. Sound is good. Lovely. Anyone else have this happen? And they're trying to work? It's so not annoying. My own fault for working with such long lengths. When you design, do you draw it out first or do you just start creating on the wire itself? Mostly I just start making because it's all in there. I haven't done a couple where I've drawn them out. There's a part of me that would like to actually draw first and like basically sketch them out first. And I thought, oh, that would be perfect if I do that and then like share them on, say, something like Patreon or for members or something. But it's just not how I naturally work, unfortunately. I've done a couple, but that's not been where I've then drawn it out to purposely actually follow the, like when I'm shaping the wire to then follow the sketch along, kind of use it as a template. Otherwise, I tend just to make it. It's good and bad. It's kind of time-saving-ish to not have the extra step, but I also kind of wish I had it. Like this. It's just, because this is specifically, let me just get it. I've used it a couple of times before. The wire crinkler tool. I actually quite like that tool. Where you get perfectly zigzagged wire. So you just feed the wire through and it comes out perfectly zigzag. And it's just, I like to play around with the ideas of what you can then do with that. And they just kind of develop in my head. I've done a design, I think that was last year, something, where I put the zigzagged right like this and weaved them together. I think that was an interesting look that gave, but then now I'm doing it so it's like point to point. So it's just playing around with different ideas. What direction was I going? There we go. Right, let's weaving. Now I'm stepping on the wire. Sorry, I think I'm shaking you. Maybe I shouldn't work with such long lengths. Oh well. Actually, I didn't set this, did I? Let's make sure this is in focus. Are we in focus? And then, actually, let's zoom in a bit. You can see a little bit better. There we go. Let's try. Been a bit stressed and nervous. Plus, I was a couple of minutes late. Because then all of a sudden when it said go live, and it's not working. Great. Just had to relog back in, which we didn't realize. And I'm only doing this also because of my husband, because he helps a lot with all that technical stuff. I get confused very easily and overwhelmed. Focus is fine. Ooh. So, what's everyone working on? Anyone else making anything right now? Or just in general? I was late too. Yeah. I hate being late. But my husband will probably not say that if you asked him, because he says I'm always the one that's late. It's always my fault. Ooh, crocheting a shawl. Nice. I am also funnily enough, I also am crocheting a shawl technically. So I'm with you there. Obviously not right now. I was gonna say December last year. That's not true because it's 2025. December 23, but just over a year ago, I started crocheting as well, and I basically haven't stopped since. I don't know why it's taken me so many years and stuff to discover it, but it did. So I started crocheting this not last December, but December a year ago. So a bit over a year, and like I said, I haven't stopped. I basically crochet pretty much every single day since, you know, like in the evenings and stuff. I got hooked. But you never heard that one before. But anyway, yeah, I've been working on a shawl as well for a while. It's taken me quite a while. I have to make 3 really large triangles, wow, squares. I'm almost done with my second one, but I'm also working on other things at the same time, like a giraffe plush teddy thing, and oh yeah, and like infinity cubes as well. Clutter clearing this weekend, but have project planned to embroider a Bridget's cross for I'm not sure what that means, but embroider. Oh, it's also time consuming and intricate. I had when I was young, I'm not entirely sure where it was from. I think it was my mum's when she was young. She had like a, you know, kind of like a pre-colored piece of embroidery fabric thing that you embroider onto to tell you where you need to put what color, and she never finished it, so I took it over when I was young. I never finished it either, but I did do that a bit, and I actually have thought about that recently, so I kind of fancy getting that, maybe getting all of that if it still exists. If it does, it will be at my mum's, but I'm not sure why, because I need more to take up my time, don't I? Morning from Arizona. Crochet is a beautiful art. Yes, I agree. I think part for me, what took me so long is I didn't realise all the things you could do with it, like how versatile it actually is. Because I think I always just thought it's like granny squares, and I've never really looked into it properly. But when I then started seeing that actually I like this, plus it is really freaking therapeutic, I think. Definitely for me. Just I think it's that repetitive movement. And sometimes, obviously, if you're making something more intricate, or if you're making something yourself from scratch, you have to think about it. But at the same time, there's so many parts where you don't kind of have to think, if that makes sense. You can kind of go on autopilot a lot. And I think that's really what makes it very therapeutic a lot of the time as well. You can kind of just, you're moving, your hands are moving, you're doing something, but you can also switch off a little bit. And there's so many things you can do with it. But also just another time consuming thing. Which I don't mind, it's just obviously we only have so much time in the day. I wish we didn't have to sleep and stuff. But yeah, I agree, it's a beautiful art. And I do wish I'd discovered it sooner. I did crochet a little bit when I was a kid, like, you know, you try out different things. But there was more, I think, a tiny little bit, with then knitting tried a little bit, and then, you know, you move on to other things and stuff. But I'm hooked now, so literally. I've even found the type of hooks I really like using, so I'm building up my collection of them because they're kind of more expensive ones rather than just cheap ones you can get. Kind of like what you were making, you know, like a more high-end range of pliers that cost significantly more than cheaper ones. The cheaper ones are fine, but where'd you go? Sometimes higher up ones have some certain benefits, or they're better ergonomically, or whatever it is. It's basically the same thing. But anyway, I'm really relieved there's actually people here. I was worried I was going to be all alone. Have you seen Fiber Arts Expressions channel on YouTube? It doesn't ring a bell just from that. Maybe I have. That's basically my thing as well. Since discovering it, I'm watching crochet videos on YouTube. That's kind of my main thing now. I use it especially at night in bed because I have to watch something to go to sleep. I have to occupy my brain to be able to go to sleep, and since I discovered that's been crochet videos and tutorials and stuff. But off the top of my head I don't recognize it, but I could very possibly have seen something. Fiber Arts Expressions. I'll check if I recognize it. Search. Fiber. Expressions. No, that doesn't look familiar. So I'm guessing that's kind of just fibers in general, obviously crochet, knit, and just overall generally. Fiber Arts, hence the name. I'll have a look at that later. It's a treat to catch you on a live stream. Thank you. You have a very calming presence and you are a creative genius. Well, thank you. And now I feel awkward. Calming presence. Thank you. And it's so weird for me because to me I'm not in my brain is not calm. That never is calm. But the fact that it comes across like that on the outside is just so weird. I have to practice the Kumihimo technique with the wire. My initial rounds are very loose and then I seem to get very tight. Yeah, I can see that. I get that. I think the trick really is to find out how to keep the what's the word? Consistent tension. But that's so maybe then obviously make sure to use long enough wires in the first place, but to then make the designs where you just kind of need the braiding, you can say cut it down when you're done and then cut off the ends that you don't like. So you have, say if you have a long enough consistent, say if it's a tighter end, so you cut off the loose end. That will maybe be a way to try and work around it in a way, if that makes sense. And I'm sorry, Monica, I can't read that. I get a gist of some of the words, but not overall. I unfortunately only speak 2 languages, even though I've studied quite a few. But they didn't stick. My wire work always looks like rubbish. I'm sure it doesn't. That's why I stick to oil painting. I love painting too. I love watching people making things with wire though. Hello, love all your work. I purchased your... Oh, thank you. Wonder. I do see those comments a lot where it's like, you know, I guess we all do that, where you like, my work or my this or that always looks rubbish or something, as I'm sure it usually most of the time doesn't. And even if it does, that's okay too. Believe me, we all make rubbish things sometimes. Wouldn't be fun if we were all perfect at everything, would it? Hi, Aisha's Handmade Items. Hopefully I've pronounced that correctly, hopefully. Aisha, that's how I will pronounce it. I'm more familiar with that name with an I instead of a Y. That's how I've seen it before, but... Wait. Oh yeah, that's correct. I'm thinking I'm doing something wrong. Because I'm distracted. Good morning. I'm excited to see what you make today. Is this the wire piece from your IG posts the other day? Yes. If you're thinking the one where I... This won't be a focus. For my tub? Yes. It's first of all kind of some wire weaving that in itself takes a while, but then I'm also making like 6 or 8 different versions for a couple of like both bracelets, earrings and stuff like that. But yeah, so there's a bit to do. It will take me a while. That's why I thought, why not just do a little bit on a stream instead of just doing it on my own. My daughter discovered crochet last spring. Now she does beautiful work. She makes presents for her friends and co-workers. I've asked her to make me a shawl or wrist warmers. I'm still waiting. Yeah, should have been a few months ago, depending where you live, winter wise, obviously. Depends where you live. Back to Earth Creations. Yep, hello. How are you doing? I feel relieved and still awkward at the same time. And even though I might look calm, my brain is going. And also, I have gotten a little bit red, but that camera is definitely redder than it should be. I'm not quite that red, although sometimes my cheeks and my nose does go bright red for no reason. Kind of like it looks, I think, if not worse, but shouldn't be quite that bad. How's the weather where you live? I don't know why I'm looking because the curtains are drawn. I'm just imagining. It's cold right now. We had snow. What day is it today? Sunday. Oh my goodness. I never know what day it is. Early this week or late last week? Yeah, and it was very disruptive, but it always is over here. This country doesn't learn with snow. But where I live, it's all gone, thankfully. I'm not sure if it is everywhere, but it's gone here. But it was quite disruptive. So now it's just cold. A bit rainy here and there, I think. Otherwise, nothing major. Doing good, getting coffee going and settling into craft. I saw your Instagram post that you're streaming. Yes. Hopefully enjoy your coffee and some crafting. But yes, I have been planning to start streaming again for the past 1.5 to 2 years. I finally got around to it. The only reason why I didn't sooner is that I kept talking myself out of it. I don't know why. What are you making? I'll try and show you through the other ones that are a little bit more finished. Sure, I'll just get another one. Just a second. It's a bit wider. That's I haven't finished off the ends, but otherwise that's supposed to be a bracelet because it's a bit wider, and then I'm making just a second. There we go. A bit narrow where I thought turn them into earrings, so obviously I shaped them whether it's going to be a round or teardrop. I haven't decided yet, or both, you know, with different ones. And then also I'm doing some where I'm adding beads in. This one is just some large ones down the middle, and then I'm also thinking I'm going to do a version as well where I'm using smaller ones, but then sitting, make sure it's in focus, on the outside edge kind of. I think on the inside of the outside edge, if that makes sense. The like outer corners, because they're bicones and just like slot in perfectly. So I'm gonna like do the two versions of with beads. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing bracelets, earrings, silver, copper, plain with wire, beaded, two different versions. So there's a bit to do. You know, it would be lovely if I could delegate and have some people help me out. Anyway, that's what I'm working on. It's beautiful, thank you. That's so pretty. It reminds me of the stretchy. I see what you're saying. Now I'm not going to be able to unsee that. What was I working on? Right, wasn't this one? Wasn't that one? It was this one, I think. No, it wasn't that one. It was this one. Yeah, I can't unsee that now. I never wore one. I could never. I would feel like it was choking me. But I do remember them. And yes, we had them too. The memories. It's funny how certain things are just so, like, that's so 90s, or that's so 80s, or that's so 2000s. Yeah, that's definitely 90s. And I can't unsee that now. I feel like that's what I'm making. Like I'm going to say more permanent version of them. More high-end version of them, I don't know. With wire. I guess you could do that if you wanted to. Wear the wire around your neck. I couldn't do that. What did I get to? One more. That is a good point. I don't know why I would have never thought that myself, but it makes perfect sense when you say it. Have you ever visited USA? Have I? No, I have not. There's a couple of places I would like to, but it's not like at the top of my list. The top of my list is, number one on my list is New Zealand. I would love to go to New Zealand. And Australia, but mostly New Zealand. That is my number one. And visit all the Lord of the Rings places. And just the nature. But yeah, that's my number one. Are you using a 16 gauge and 22 gauge wire? No. The base wire is a 0.8, so a 20 gauge. And the weaving wire is a 0.3, a 28 gauge. But it could be, it could also work with 1 mil, which is 18 gauge, and 26 gauge, which, 0.4 mil, which is 26 gauge. Or even finer for that matter, 30 gauge. Love the beaded version. I would like to see the bracelet with the beads on the borders. Yeah, I'm going to make that. Both in silver and copper. But, slow progress. What the heck did I do with this? The 6 like you have there would be a great accent with a chainmail design. Yeah, I could see that. I have been wanting to do some chainmail for ages. Just haven't gotten around to it. I've had some ideas for a long time where to like combine some chainmail with macrame or something like that. I've just never got around to it yet. Another thing on the list of things, you know, I want to do, but maybe someday. Hopefully someday. I'm sure I'll get there. Plus, I've been wanting to, regarding books, a couple of people have asked this, I've also been wanting to like start kind of basically making some of it and like writing some of it, to be able to, even if like say they don't contact me first, like they did with the first one, if I kind of reach out to them but I have something to show, still haven't got around to that either. There's always something else to do. I guess it just comes down to priority. It would make a great cuff. Yes, it would. Yeah, you could, because my thought is, like with a bracelet, to finish off the ends, obviously. It's only those two that are left because it's one long piece of wire. And then I was thinking attach like a clasp, but honestly, yeah, you could definitely kind of just leave the ends like this and have it as a cuff. That would work quite well, I think, because you don't have loads of wire ends to deal with, so that would be a good idea. I'm just checking how focused this is, because I can't leave on auto, which I normally don't work with autofocus anyway, but because then you'll see those lines, which we don't want. Where are we? See, I'm distracted, so I don't know where I am. Thank you. All the kind comments. I know live stuff gets in the way of your wire creations. Yeah. The thing is though, I can never, when I'm just myself and say I'm working on something, I can never just do that either anyway, so it's not like it's different than how I would work myself. Obviously it's different, but as in I always have to say have something on that I'm watching, or have music on, or have something else that kind of distracts a bit as well. Obviously, I guess I was going to say I'm not talking, but if it's music then I am singing. If it's talking, sometimes, well, if I'm watching something, sometimes I just talk to myself. I don't know. Anyway, I always have to, I can never just do the one thing, I have to always do something else at the same time. Like when we, in the evenings, if we watch a film or watch a show, I always have to be making something at the same time, like crochet or jewellery or something. I can't never just sit and watch. It's too boring. I'm like, I can't just watch something. I have to make something at the same time. Do something with my hands. That's a good thing there's a few options. Now even more with crochet. Which has kind of taken over my life a bit the last year. And let's just say yarn has taken over my house a bit the last year as well. I'm in the process of trying to get it organised. I'll get there. It's the usual, find something new, get obsessed with it, and then just kind of go crazy with it. And then that's just my obsession, special interest for a good long while. I'm the same way. Yeah. And in the beginning, with my husband and I, many years ago, he was a little bit, like, not annoyed, but he was a bit, why I always had to, like, make something while we're watching something. I'm just like, I just have to accept it and deal with it. I have to always have something in my hands while we're watching something. I can't just sit there and watch something. It's too boring. so he quickly accepted that. That's just who I am. So, where's the weather where everyone else is? I was about to say, surely winter, but like I said earlier, no, not everywhere has winter. I'm usually listening to a book or something. Yes. Well, I don't listen to books, but I do have some podcasts. That's mostly when I do dishes and stuff, I do podcasts. I also very much have, the things I do very much, watching something on music can be a little bit interchangeable. Otherwise, like, if it's podcast, that's, I usually do while I'm doing dishes. It's kind of the only time I do podcasts. Or music, but and it's always crime podcasts or crime shows or YouTube that I watch. Yeah, that's basically my life. Making things with my hands all the time if I could. Just that, and then listening / watching about crime / music depending what mood I'm in. If I can do that, I'm happy. I guess I'm on that bandwagon as well of babies. Basically not, I don't really watch TV. I haven't really done for a long time. It's online. Everything is online. It's honestly mainly YouTube for me. But we did go to cancel our Sky, which is the TV provider that my husband had way before we even met. So we've been with him for years and years. We went to cancel him because, for one, it's too expensive, plus we actually weren't using it for a long time. And then they ended up doing such a good deal that we kind of couldn't say no because it included internet and stuff like that, which would have been, and Netflix for that matter. Which is the only other thing we use is a couple of streaming services. So we have TV, but we don't use it. Only because it was cheaper option to do. It's 37, so it's here in New York. It's freezing here in New York, 37. So that would be Fahrenheit, I'm assuming. Otherwise, that won't be warm. Yeah, I'm not super into Fahrenheit, but I do have a sense 37 would be quite cold. New York. Yeah, that can get quite cold as well. Can be snow and everything. I rewatch movies that I've seen a million times. Yeah, just good when you know what's gonna happen. But I have a couple of films and shows like that where I can always watch them. That way I can just listen to the movie and visualize it in my head as I work on my project. Yep, that reason too, absolutely. Kind of like safe shows or safe films where you could always watch them. I have a couple of them for me. I have some good and oldies like Jurassic Park. I can kind of always watch even though I've seen it a million times. All of them. I don't know, Independence Day. Some classics for me always. Lord of the Rings, they just take a bit more commitment time-wise. Night Before Christmas. Now, I do have a couple of films / shows where it's not because they are great films, but they just kind of do it for me, if that makes sense. Deep Blue Sea is one for me where I can just watch it. I can always watch it. I've seen it a million times. I can watch it without watching it, if that makes sense. You know, just playing it in my head. But I can watch that. And then The Mist, if anyone's familiar with that. The film, I can just watch. I don't know why. There's just something about it that's just... I can always watch it. And then also the show, I've actually been thinking I've seen it once or twice I think. But I've actually been fancying rewatching it again. The Mist show. But And the show and the Mist film, the film was pretty good, but there's not because it's like the best films or shows I've ever seen. There's just something about them that kind of does it. I guess satisfies my brain in some way. So absolutely am for that. And yes, you also then don't have to pay too much attention in case you're like doing something at the same time. Listening to a podcast is distracting for me. Yeah. Oh, it can be. For me, it depends a lot. If it's something I get really into, I feel like have to then pay attention to what's being. I'm also really bad for watching stuff, and I've been discovering more recently this is something I actually do. I've always done it. They're talking and they're saying something, and I miss what they say, and I just it's a film, it's YouTube, it's whatever it is. I miss what they've said. I rewind it, say 10 or 20 seconds to watch it again, and as soon as I rewind it, I for some reason switch off again, and I do the same thing, and I rewind it again, and I do it like 3, 4, 5 times until I like stop and just listen. So yeah, that gets kind of annoying, but it is what it is. It's cold here in Georgia. I'm not sure where that is. Can't picture that on the map, like north, south. Honestly, I think most places in America would be that. I have a rough idea of some of it, but I wouldn't be able to precisely say most of it. But yeah, it's pretty cold here. I don't actually know. It was 1 degree earlier. We've been in minus the past couple of weeks. It's 2 right now. But yeah, hence obviously the snow and the ice because we've been in minus Celsius. Which I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. I'm guessing it might be around you said 37 is probably around a similar type of thing then. The degree wise, temperature wise. I would imagine so. But I don't think January, almost the end of January, it won't be much longer. Before we know it, it'll be bloody summertime. And before we know it, it'll be bloody Christmas again. And it'll be 2026. And I swear I can't keep up with life anymore. I literally feel like it was just summer where it was 6 months to Christmas and now it's past Christmas. It's like, what the heck? I just cannot keep up. Southeast US, southeast. Huh. Where did you buy this zigzag tool? That was a good question. Amazon, possibly? It's a long time ago. But it could very well be Amazon. I know it is / has been on there. Besides your jewelry making, do you crochet as well? Yes. I was just saying earlier, not last December, so December last year, which is only a month ago. December before that, so just over a year ago, I discovered crochet and then I got hooked. Like literally. And I didn't stop. So yes. I discovered what I've been missing out on this whole time. And then I have a plier attached to one hand and now I have a hook attached to my other hand. which can be quite inconvenient when you need the bathroom. I think we'll go through now. So yeah, I am working on these things that I'm making. It's planning on, well, actually I'm in the process of filming. I have another version of the bracelet one that I showed you. I'm in the process of filming it, so there will be tutorials. But they are taking a while for me to finish off here. As in all the different versions of them. Winter usually lasts 1 to 2 months. 1 to 2 months. Yeah, I guess it also depends what you class on winter. Like, is it only like the really cold and winter slash snow slash like freezing period, or is it kind of just coldness in general? It feels like spring lasts a week. Oh yeah. When the summer lasts forever. Yeah. Yeah, you're onto something there, because I say the winters, December was pretty cool. I don't think we decided getting any snow until January, so snow and ice wise, but it was still fairly cold. So yeah, 2 to 3 months I would say here. But yeah, spring and autumn is always quite short, but summer, it's more the past, I'm gonna say few years, but it's honestly more and more for every year that passes. It's like, I've been thinking it for like probably close to a decade, if not more. I feel like summer has changed compared to what it used to be. Like, a heat wave was uncomfortable, but it's way more uncomfortable now than what it used to be. And I feel like there's more of them over the summer, and like the period where they come lasts longer. So yeah, absolutely. Summer lasts, which honestly is, I like sun and brightness, but I don't like the heat. Yes, I don't like the cold, but it's easier to obviously kind of warm yourself up, put extra clothes on, or put the heating on when it's like heat wave. There's nothing you can do about it. Very little you can do. And yeah, I feel like it's gotten a lot worse than it used to be. It definitely lasts longer than it should as well. But what can we do? Will you ever consider doing a crochet channel? I've thought about it. I've actually prepped one. Just also like doing some just social media in general crochet. I kind of feel it's wrong to say and think that like I should do it, but in a way it's a little bit, doing that gives a bit of an excuse to do it, you know, because like there's more of a purpose. Not that you have to have a purpose with it, but I'm also very much, when I get into something, I'm just thinking, oh, I can do this with it, I can do that, I can start a business, I can do this and that, and it's just, yeah, it's not always a good thing, but yes, I've thought about it and slash planned about it, slash maybe started it. Just haven't gone all the way yet. But I will. It's just another thing where I just kind of gotta push myself instead of keep talking myself out of it. You know, that mental health is a frickin' fucker. So what does everyone else listen to / watch? Any certain themes? Like for me it's crime. Any specific shows or films? Or books for that matter? Or podcasts? Anything? Or YouTube? Always curious. Also that you can learn so much, like discover new things. We are currently, last night we just started, it's called The 8 Show on Netflix. I was really enjoying that. I watched the first 4 episodes. Possibly finish the last 4 tonight, depending. Yeah, that's pretty good. Very like Squid Game-esque, which I guess is good because damn, that Squid Game, I didn't want that to end. Mental health is an adventure for sure. Oh hell. Phew. Can we just see, can you be your own worst freaking enemy? My go-to for marathon craft days, oh yes, I love those one, is Lord of the Kings series. Do you mean that, so that's something else, or do you mean Lord of the Rings? Lord of the Kings? Lord of the Rings? I'm familiar with Lord of the Rings, but I'm not familiar with Lord of the Kings, so I don't know if it's something else. This is about an 8 or 9 hour crafting day. Now, again, talking that, I'm thinking it's supposed to be Lord of the Rings, but yeah. And I really like that as well. I think that's why now most of my time I spend pretty much my time on, say, YouTube instead of TV and stuff. And especially live streams, I like watching ones and long videos. I just put that on and then just like make things during instead of, I don't know, TV just doesn't do it for me anymore. I've started listening to books on tape again. Really like watching nature documentaries as well. Rings. I thought so. I was like, is it like a parody thing or something, or is it Lord of the Rings? Yeah, I'm with you on that. Lord of the Rings, I can always watch that. And Hobbit. Just because they belong together. Books on tape. Oh goodness. Old technology. I'm not so much for reading myself. Need to put on your glasses. That's fine. I thought I knew what you meant, but you know, you never know. They make all sorts nowadays. I don't read, but I can read, but I don't enjoy it. I tried to do books on, I was going to say podcast form, that's not, audiobooks. I just still never got into that either, for some reason. Reading has never really captured me. I don't enjoy it. I'd rather watch something, or like a podcast. Oh, getting all mixed up. But podcast is probably the thing I do the least. Like just when I do dishes. And it has to be about crime. I agree, I don't like the heat. Actually, I hate being hot. Yeah. I feel like I can't breathe, me too. That's the only reason why I don't like summer. It's the heat. I like the brightness, the sun and stuff like that. I just can't do the heat. Especially here where it gets hotter and much more regular and more than what it used to. And then also because then this country's not, I was going to say built for it, the country itself's not built, but they don't build the houses and stuff to accommodate for it. so that doesn't help. We don't have aircon and stuff like that, so yeah, I could do without heat. In general, I do just struggle with temperature issues in general, but the heat is the worst. Like I said, you can always make yourself warmer, but it's damn difficult making yourself cooler when it's the planet causing it, or however you look at it. I guess we just have to deal with it. Don't think it's going to change for the better. Not nice for the little ones either. Our cats, they really struggle in it too. And it's just so heartbreaking because you can tell they're struggling, but there's only so much you can do to help them. I wish we could turn the temperature down, but we can't. Even heat from like radiators and warming the house, I quick to get uncomfortable and like turn it off. Or in the car, I hate like having hot air blowing on me. Uncomfortable. The heat is miserable. Where I used to live, oh yeah, humid. That's what it is here as well. It's so humid. Oh, that's what makes it horrible. I've never been to like a bunch of other countries like that, but where some countries they have like a different heat that's I guess more dry, it's not as bad. But then some countries, what I've heard from people, like say Egypt, you go there and you go off the plane and it's just you just sweat, and the heat, it just sounds horrible. I cannot imagine it. Humid and hot, yeah. It was getting to where we slept through the heat of the day and functioned primarily at night, yeah. But even that and sleeping in it, I just, because there's only so much you can do to cool down. Because it's like having fans blowing on you, but it's this warm air that they blow on you, so that doesn't really help. Definitely say some of us weren't born to live in humid heat, and I'm one of them. Yeah, you look really red though. I am partly red because I can feel it. It's quite hot in my cheeks, but it's not that bad, I think, in real life. It's not super hot here, although I do think the heating is on. That's only because it's freaking cold otherwise. My cat loves ice in her water bowl. Yeah, we do that as well in the summer. Well, on the really hot days anyway. Have like little tubs. They're takeaway tubs actually. I bought many of them a long time ago, like really cheap, and use them to basically just fill up water and then in the freezer, and we just, because we have a big water bowl, and put one of them in there so it lasts a longer time than obviously small ice cubes and stuff. We do that for them in the summer as well. We have a window AC unit in our bedroom window. Loud but nice and cold. Yeah, that's the only thing. For ones I've seen, it's quite loud, but I'm not like used to AC. I didn't grow up with AC. We don't have it here or anything. Yeah, we do the ice in the water in the summer when it's really hot. We also have a towel for them that we put in the freezer to cool it down, and then take it out and lay it on the floor, and it's so cute to see them. They like know exactly what it is. We take it out of the freezer. It doesn't last very long, but then put it on the floor, put it somewhere, and they go straight on it, and you can just see it on their face. They enjoy it. Like I said, it only lasts a short while, but it's just a couple minutes relief to help them. Yeah. We use fans, but again, when it's warm, it's just warm air. It blows, so it only really helps so much. We also have a couple of like actual kind of cooling mats where there's like a gel inside of them, usually blue, for them as well. Otherwise it breaks your heart because there's only so much you can do to help them, but you really want to. But speaking of which, we haven't been joined by anyone yet. You're probably resting. To be fair, they would normally be resting now. Kind of the afternoon after lunchtime, before evening meal time. Be on our bed, usually both of them, but on opposite sides. We were earlier. Just in case there is anything, if it'll pick it up. This is our princess. That's my side of the bed. She always lays on my side of the bed. And this is our king. Can't see them that well, but he always lays on my husband's side of the bed, which is that side. It's so freaking sweet and adorable. They literally always stick to their own spots, more or less, certain sides of the bed. In the morning, my husband gets up really early. Like 5 in the morning to go to work. So I'm in bed for longer. And obviously I sleep on my side. And usually when we both get out of bed, mostly Princess, she'll come and want to jump on the bed to then have her rest time. But she never comes up and joins me and lays on his side while I'm in bed. She waits for me to get up, and then she goes on my side and lays there. And I was like, please join me, lay on the other side. But it's so cute at the same time. I wish she would just join me, but she literally lays on my side and he lays on his side. It's so sweet. Cat in a box, yeah. Oh, cat in a box. You can buy the best toys, can't you? Nope, just want the box they come in. Literally, I swear, it's like the trick. If you ever need to get hold of your cat, whether it's to give them medicine or bring them to the VTs, just get a box out and they'll go in it. It'll be a perfect trick. Arizona has a dry heat. They find it hot when the humidity's 17%. I freaking wish. 17% sounds like heaven. We are literally, well, look right now. I know it's not hot right now, but I'm assuming because we live on an island in England, we are very regular in the 90s humidity. And in the summer, in the heat, ugh, where are we? It's 82 right now. Yeah. That's one thing I don't enjoy about this country. I didn't realise it would be so humid before I moved here. Spelled out VTs, yeah. I know I don't need to, but we always do that when they're around. Do your fingers get used to the wire work at some point? My fingers get sore after a little while. I have to put it down after about an hour, then return a couple of hours later. Yeah, I think it'd be the same with anything. I do find still, because I'm not doing it as much as I used to, like all the time, because I can't for certain reasons, and but I still have like long sessions. And it's the same with crochet. There's certain, obviously it's a different focus, one thing at a time. I find with wire work, I think, let me just, because I weave with my right hand, I feel there's something on the left as well, anyway, and it runs across that finger, so it's here's why I always get kind of, I guess it's a callus or something, and I actually have a bit of something there, and it does sometimes get to a point where it starts to hurt. It's not so bad that I can't cope with it though. It doesn't ever kind of cause me too many problems. I think it's because I have done it for a long time, so kind of gotten used to it, but it still does come with some pain and hard skin and stuff. I think that's just kind of part of it, and you just kind of get used to it. It's like with the crochet I have, I use that finger to hold the yarn, so, and I also am a tight crocheter, so it does kind of make indents into my finger after I've been crocheting for a while. I don't know, sometimes I just try and like have it run over a little bit a different place, or try and loosen my tension a little bit. Same thing, it does then cause a little bit of pain at one point, but I kind of managed to manage it, I guess. Or I just choose to keep going anyway, I don't know. It definitely feel like doing it for longer, you get more used to it. What did I do? I haven't done the connection yet, have I? No. But there's nothing wrong with taking breaks anyway. If that's what you need, that's what you need. I think I also, that's something I've noticed about myself as well, both with crochet and with wire work. I also kind of, I can have long sessions, but I don't like sit and do the same. I think I naturally, so I take breaks of like, I don't know, a minute, a couple of minutes fairly frequently as I'm doing it, if that makes sense. So I'm not sitting for say an hour and literally having say in this case the wire run on that for like a straight hour. I kind of then get distracted every few minutes and do something on my phone, or then I stop and just like concentrate on what I'm watching just to like pay attention to it or something. So kind of naturally get some small breaks, if that makes sense. I think that probably makes a little bit of a difference. But yeah, I'm a tight crocheter, I'm a tight wire weaver, I'm a tight macrame, whatever it is. I naturally just do things tight, which is not helpful in that, but it's kind of, I can't really do much about it. It's natural way I do it. I have a similar chronic sore spot on my right middle finger. Oh yeah, that is the middle finger. I use medical tape to manage it, but my grip is getting painful in my left hand from death gripping wise. Yeah, grip as well. That is another issue. I have as well some issues with that. So wait, I need the end. Never mind. I also use, I think I have them. Haha, I do. What I use to help, I find that it can help with wire work, but I mostly use it. Oh, macrame is a bad one for me, I find, actually. Both with wire and cord, that can be one of the worst ones. That's why these I found quite helpful. These ones are the newest ones I have. I've previously had ones where I kind of just cut off the tip, because I don't like having too much on my fingers. I like to feel what I'm working with. I have to be able to like actually touch it and feel it. But these are very soft, and I'm gonna just, in this case, if it's the middle finger, but I still have my fingertip to be able to feel and touch things, but where say the wire runs is kind of then protected, and I can reuse them for quite a while. They do get worn eventually, but only after quite a lot of uses. So those I find helpful. probably wire kumihimo, and wire macrame and regular macrame is what I find like the worst culprits kind of thing, and where those ones I find really help, and I definitely have to use them when I do that kind of work, because otherwise they're even worse for this. I do get the hard skin and pain and calluses far more for macrame, a little bit kumihimo, definitely. That's far more, I feel, also like a constant repetitive movement, and I guess the cord is probably rougher as well on the skin itself than sometimes the wire, although the wire macrame is also quite a bad culprit for it. Anyway, that's what I find anyway. So those things I do find helpful. Finger protectors, silicone gel ones, or whatever they're called. I definitely would have to take breaks, otherwise I would have to stop at some point or using those, otherwise I wouldn't be able to go for super long at a time, because that does get quite painful for some reason. But yeah, the death grip, I get like I said, I'm a tight everythinger for many years anyway. Get those when you grip something, even though it's like something like this and I'm not doing it particularly tightly, there's a certain point where you just get pain and it runs all the way up your arm. That is just horrible, even though you're not gripping tightly at the time. There's just something in there that's not quite right. You can see those being super useful. Yeah, I think they are. For a long time before I found those ones, I was wanting something to help. I could just not find the right kind of thing, but those ones are quite like. Tangled up. I should probably not work with this long length. But you will. At the same time, I do prefer to try and work with as long lengths as possible. So that's another reason why I'm surprised we haven't been joined, because the wire is hanging down towards the floor, and usually I have a little someone wanting to chew it. Have you tried a tension ring? They could help you with the tension and help protect your finger. I have, and I have used specifically for crochet. I've done it, and I did enjoy it. I didn't not like using it. I don't know why I kind of just stopped. I guess it felt more natural to just use my finger. Oh, fingers. Yeah, I very well could try again at some point. I think I'm also a little bit, the project I'm working on with the crochet, the shawl I'm making, I'm also trying to not change too much up as I'm making it, because the 3 squares, I want them to be as similar to each other as possible. I already started my 2nd square and did quite a size of it. You can't really see. Wrong way. Quite a size of it, and undid the whole thing because the size just wasn't adding up to be the same or similar enough to the first one I did, and so I basically redid that one already a few times. So I'm worried that if I start using a tension ring with the shawl that I'm working on, it will kind of change the parameters or whatever you want to call it too much to then make it even less likely that they're going to be, you know, a similar size as possible. because I'm going to end up then connecting them and turn them into a shawl. So I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it, probably. Let's get back in. I think about there. You could make your own. Yeah, I have thought that. The only thing is with this kind of wire, it's obviously softer, whereas the ones you buy are like stainless steel, I assume, and they're like hard to move, out of shape kind of thing, whereas this kind of wire would, so if you pull too hard you could maybe pull it out of shape. You are very skilled. Thank you. I have learned so much from your videos for several years. Your book is also very good. Thank you so much for teaching. Thank you. It's very nice. Yeah, it's weird. I feel like the past couple of years have been not that great for me, and I feel like the things I used to be able to do and thought I was good at, I feel like I've been going through a lot of skill regression as well. Like, I don't feel like I can do things like I used to, or be as good as some things like I used to doing, which is very weird. Or just basic skills sometimes. I don't know. The past couple of years have been very weird and not great. Which part of that I blame my grandparents. It's not very nice of them to just die like that, you know. But anyway, not to bring it down. Not gonna lie, same, yeah. I think we all go through that. Probably. I think it's so much, could very much be so much connected to the whole mental health side of things as well. I think there's so much more to that and more important than we even realise. I guess that's life. It's not supposed to be easy, is it? Oh, our pets all started passing away. Don't even get me started on that thought. I hurt my hand and didn't give it time to heal, and tried my best to workaholic myself into another grave. Yeah, I can see all that. That's gonna do it. I used to refurnish furniture and now I feel like I forgot the basics to the point I second guess myself. Oh my goodness, yeah. That's how I feel like I've been doing videos and tutorials over 10 years. Yeah. And I've kind of eventually got to the point where I felt like I feel like I'm pretty good at this. I know what I'm doing. And the past couple of years I've just been like, I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm literally second guessing everything I do. But also just basic daily things that I feel like I can't really operate my own online banking anymore. I feel like I'm just so anxious and worried about doing something wrong, and I'm like, how do you do this and how do you do that? I was like, it didn't used to be this difficult, did it? I don't feel like I'm that old. It's just all happening. Like, what the hell? I didn't sign up for that. This is weird how something we literally, it's kind of like something you used to be able to do without almost thinking about it. It was like you knew the back of your hand of it, and then all of a sudden it just changes. I just don't understand how that can happen. It's so frustrating. It's a struggle, but you're not alone. We suffer uniquely together. Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it. Uniquely together. I poke my hand and fingers also. Did I do it twice? I don't think I did. When in doubt, craft it out. I like that. Should put that on a t-shirt if you haven't already. Has to force myself to just do crayons and a colouring book to even start liking to be creative again. Oh yeah. Ugh. Colouring books. I have a whole shelf of colouring books and they're just sitting there. And I got them for the purpose of I just sometimes get one out and sit and to not have to think too much about it, but just like be able to do something creative to try and help with it mentally, and it's just like they're just sitting there. Why don't I use them? And I have quite a few, and it's like, but yeah, that I feel like so much more recently as well, over the past couple of years, like the feeling of wanting to do things that you normally enjoy doing, but for some reason it just doesn't feel the same. You have to kind of almost force yourself to sometimes. A lot of times, well, recent years I've not been able to even do that. Just wish there was more help. I think there's so many of us that could use it. I feel a little bit you're in that place, but then you just don't know what to do about it. What am I supposed to do to change it? This got a little bit deep. I didn't expect that. Oh well. That's the whole point though, isn't it? We all go through things. And more likely, and more that we know, more of us a lot of the same stuff without realizing. I'm cheering for you. If I had the answer, I'd share it. Yeah, same. But I think sometimes we have to be extra gritty and muck through it. Yeah, I agree with that. Sometimes you're just in a place where even that is not possible. I just found junk journaling for that personal creative time. I've heard of that. I've never really looked into that specifically, but I have heard of it. There are quite a few videos on YouTube. Ooh, what's junk journaling? Yeah, I mean, kind of me too. I have heard of it before, but I've not looked into, so I don't fully know exactly the details of it. Guessing a form of like journaling. I could imagine something like, I don't know. I don't know why I'm trying to guess. Just look it up. It's like scrapbooking. Oh, actually, that's a little bit what I was thinking. I just couldn't put it into words. But not with family photos, just with stickers and other items like a collage. That is actually what I was thinking. I just could not figure out how to get that out. It does sound like something I could imagine being like a bit therapeutic. But so was I thinking with the colouring books, and yep, they're still just sitting on the shelf mostly. I've used one or two a couple of times, but a very long time ago. So they look really pretty on my shelf. That's bowing in the middle because there's a lot. Stickers, yeah. I always had a weakness for stickers. I used to collect stickers when I was younger. I have the books now because I brought them home from my mum a couple of times ago when we went to visit. So I actually have all my old sticker books, just purely for sentimental reasons. Kiki's Room is a great channel. It's an ASMR channel as an added bonus. I'm not familiar with that. I'm not personally really into ASMR, but I also haven't really looked that much into it. But yeah, stickers. I don't know what it is about stickers. It's like a piece of coloured paper or plastic with some sticky on it, or what makes them so attractive. But they're just so kind of addictive. When I was younger, a kid, I guess, there was like a post office, and they would have one of those racks that spins. They would have like sheets of stickers on you could buy. I would always go over there and look at them and watch some when we went to the post office with my mum. Just one of those random memories. Yeah, I feel so much shame when I look at my piles of I was gonna or dream projects that are dusty. That's okay though, I need to let that feeling go. It's probably what's keeping me from joy. Yeah. I have a few of those. Well, a lot. I have one thing. I still want to do it. I bought everything for it. What is it now? Probably like 2 years ago. Oops. I got this idea. Again, it was a similar type of crochet thing, except I didn't actually start it and continue it. I must have seen like a video or something where people use their makeup to turn it into paint and then actually use that to make artwork and stuff and paint with. I got really into that and I bought everything for it, and I have loads of makeup because I used to be really into makeup years ago, but I haven't used it for years, so I thought, well, I have loads of makeup, I can, instead of it sitting in a drawer, use it, and you can't do anything with it because it's used, so I'm not going to be able to give it to anyone. So I have the, you know, all the tools to like make and paint from scratch. I forget what it's called, that thing where you gotta mold it and stuff, mix it, whatever, glass plate, the thing you gotta mix it with, and the makeup. I have it all on a shelf, all of, in a drawer over there, waiting. I just never started it. I got all the supplies. I was so excited about it. It's still there and I still plan to do it. I just haven't got to it yet. Our post office has greeting cards, stickers, would be more fun. This was, we're talking, oh boy, 25 plus years ago. I know that post office doesn't exist in that same place anymore. It hasn't done for a long time, but it was actually like quite a big room / building for a post office. I don't think they're like that oh yeah, it's more like they're basically in the supermarkets. There's not actually any post offices, I think, anymore like they used to be. That would be so cool. Yeah, I know, that's what I thought. That's why I was like, I have a bunch of makeup. I just need those tools, and I got hold of them, and then I just didn't do anything. But I thought it'd be so cool because then I actually use it to also paint and stuff. Especially with makeup, you often have the like glittery and metallic shades and stuff like that. Would be really cool and give them a nice effect. Because basically, the powder is often kind of similar to everything the paint is made of anyway, so. Wonder if that paint will work upon the clay or some sort of way to make it into a cabochon for wire wrapping. Work upon the clay. I have no idea. I think the intention with it is to make it a bit more like watercolor paint. Is how you would use it, because it would then, you would put it into words. Pans. You put it into pans and let it dry, and then you would use it like watercolor paint. Yeah, shimmer eyeshadow, exactly. That's why I was super excited about it. I just never actually did it. I'm sure I will one day. That's another thing. I love painting and drawing. And I have a painting I started some years ago. And then I just kind of abandoned it. But it's not finished. But I love painting. I just don't do it for some reason. It's stupid. Why don't we just do what we enjoy and we want to do? Why is it so hard? That freaking brain. I bet you will. I hope I will. I plan to, but I also did 2 years ago. And we're tangled up again. Undo that potential kink. Breaking the seal, that's the hardest part. Yeah. That's what I say. Why don't we? Yeah, that is the question. It's like when you have those days as well where you have all these things at your fingertips and you want to do something, but you just kind of go in freeze mode instead and end up not doing any of it. Even though you want to and you have these thoughts and ideas, you just end up freezing instead. The wire always turns kinky at some point, yeah. Yeah, all the kinkiness. Wire can be so rude. Like I said, it's kind of my own fault though. I don't feel working with such long lengths. It's probably, I would probably say if it was cord, I think someone would be here. Because we have cord chewers and unfortunate eaters in the house. We have one that chews, which is, you know, it is what it is, but another one that chews and eats. And he eats non-food stuff and it's not good. You sound stressed. Please watch Dr. Eric Berg. He explains the nutrients that help. I used to quite a few years ago when I was doing keto, quite a few years ago. But then I kind of discovered his connection with Scientology, which kind of put me off. Probably won't be going back. Which do you prefer? The kinky wire or having to splice in a fresh piece? I prefer to just keep working with the same if I can. Even though it, like, it actually happened, I think it was one of the other ones I'm working on, where it kind of broke off. Hey, that's what it was, now I remember. Actually I was going to post this as a reel, I think. I was working on one of these downstairs with 2 long lengths, because like I'm working with one length on either side, one side at a time, working my way up. And my husband thought it was a good idea to just come in and vac up the floor. And then the wire thought it would have a fight with the vac, and the vac won. So it broke off. And what was I getting at? Oh yeah, obviously I didn't have a choice. It literally broke off, so I had to attach a new piece. And I think my point was, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Absolutely fine. And I think my reason for preferring to work with long lengths is it's kind of irrational, because it's absolutely fine to add in new lengths. But in my brain, I like the thought of it being continuous and not have the breaks. And that is literally just a brain thing, nothing right or wrong about it. So if I could, I prefer to not have to add in. But sometimes also, like with this, it's for the first, actually it's for the rest as well. You have to work with it not attached to a reel, because you have to feed it through some open gaps and that. So you can't work with it on the reel, and it has to be like ridiculously long lengths if it was to finish the whole piece. So you kind of have to do it in lengths and then add in multiple times. So I have to do it anyway, so there's no point in really making them as long as I do. But I guess it's the thought just to try and minimize the amount of times I have to kind of have the breaks in the wire. Again, it's just in my head, but it doesn't mean anything as in for the piece itself, because obviously, like down here I've done it, you can literally just finish off a length and then add in a new one, and if you just kind of make it as seamless as possible, it'll be fine. So like running out of wire, yeah, exactly. Sometimes for certain designs it's just you have to use such long lengths that it doesn't really, it's not impossible, but it just doesn't really make sense to just use one continuous length, even though I try to. Yay for clean flaws. True, but he didn't do it on purpose. But neither of us realized that one of the lengths were like off the sofa and down on the floor, so whatever. It's a good thing. Also, actually, it also bent the whole thing that I'd already weaved, the middle part of it. But again, it can just be bent back, so it's fine. You can fix it as long as you can fix it. It's fine. It'd be fine even if I couldn't fix it. I would just have to start over. Yay for clean floors, yeah. I love this chat, but I have to make lunch now. I hope you do another live chat soon. Yeah, I'd like to. I can't promise anything about any regularity wise. I don't know. But lunch, so obviously that was America, yeah, what is it? It's not that far from evening meal here, so I guess that would make sense. Enjoy your lunch, whatever you're having, and hope to see you next time. And yet here we are. I'm also wrapping with a too long piece of weaver wire. It keeps tangling in my chair, but I'll be darned if I have to add in a new wire. Yeah. I feel you. It literally doesn't make sense because like you can't obviously hold it all up here. You have to have it dangling away from you, and then like it get caught on all sorts of stuff. I think what I have left of this one is probably somewhere between, it's probably at least 3 meters that's hanging, and that's not what I've used already from here. It's like, why am I doing that? I don't need to. But it will. Most of the time it works fine. Usually when it doesn't, it's either a vac or a little baby. And that's whatever. As long as there's no eating involved, which unfortunately with one of the babies there is. Can you zoom in on this connection spot that you're working? I can try. Can take it as far as it'll go. I'll just try and focus. I can't even tell if that's in focus. I think it is. What have I done? Have I done one yet? Yep, went around once. Everything's falling. That's perfect, thank you, no problem. What are you working on, other than some wire? Careful attention to detail really shines here. Thank you. Sometimes it's probably a little bit too much, but I will. When I came up the middle, I've left little gaps on the points first. Wait, where are we? Is it in focus? It's the only thing about not using autofocus is you have to stay in the same place. In the middle I left little gaps on the points that I'm then trying to now slot into to connect. To make it as seamless as possible for the final look. Now I'm not doing that on the outer ones because this is the final row, whereas the bracelet I came up and down and then one more row, so it's one extra wide that way. Yeah, came up one more time. The second time I also left gaps on the points there, and then just on the outer edge, so the very where I knew I wasn't going to make it wider, I weaved across the point instead of leaving the gap. Oh yeah. Except obviously with the beaded ones when I get to that. They're a little bit different. Those gaps are brilliant, thank you. I'm working on wire wrapped arrowheads. And later some ear cuffs. We have a vending event in late April and it's giving me renewed focus and purpose. A few months, but yeah, before you know it, it won't be long. The problem I have like with that kind of thing, in my head I'll be thinking, oh, I have loads of time, and then I'll kind of push things further than I should, and then I'll end up getting closer to the deadline, and then I'll just stress about it and just way overwork, I guess, because I've then left it. That's my problem with that kind of thing. And deadlines. But it sounds like I've seen before, you do regular shows and that, don't you? Online sales and social media have eroded my will to craft. So my New Year's resolution is to be more offline. Interesting. Yeah. It's difficult, isn't it? Because it's like, you feel like, I feel as well like I want to be more offline, but at the same time you feel like you can't because, well, that's where like the business is. And it's just such a dilemma. Because I personally am not into craft shows and that, just shows in general, just because of me. I am too awkward, and the whole social thing of it and people, I wouldn't know how to do it. Part of me wants to, but part of me knows it's not suitable for me. We're trying to pace it out. Yeah, that's the thing, trying to get the right kind of plan for it and pace of it. We made a design list of what needs restocked and broke it down to which to do each week. My brain is goo, so I need told what to do. Look, yeah, that sounds like a plan though, not a bad one either. But the brain being goo, ugh, tell me about it. I definitely think sometimes we just would need someone else to kind of like take control of things and just be told what needs doing, and then just kind of, yeah, be told what to do and can do it. But if there's too much stuff going on in that head, it's just, it freezes you. It's impossible. I definitely feel like I'm way less capable of keeping track of everything and not getting overwhelmed and stuff than I used to. We used to do 30 plus shows a year. Wow. We fandom conventions, so socially awkward is the norm. Alright, I get what you're saying. Yeah. But still. That's a lot, 30. 12. 24. Over 2 a month, wow. To keep up with that as well, like with stock and everything. I'm not good at unplugging, so I took over and got entangled in my self-worth. Oh yeah, oh yeah. That is the trap, isn't it? I feel like we wish we could just literally unplug. The problem is in doing that is you feel like, and then everything just goes to pot and everything gets ruined, or it's like you feel like you have no freaking choice. I used to do a video a week, mostly, sometimes occasionally like 2, but mostly one a week. In the past 1 to 2 years I've just gone way downhill with that. I've not been able to keep up in the same way, which obviously is not good then for the wonderful algorithm is the word, but at the same time it's like, what are you supposed to do if you're not able to? Hi from the US. Hello, Celestial Silver. Oh, that's an interesting surname. Sounds, to be honest, a perfect surname. Hi from England. Well, hello from England as well. From the cold England. Like comic books and anime. I do a lot of smiling and nodding and giggling. My husband does the sales. Lol. That's the thing. I feel like I could do it if I had someone that would kind of be the main person, like the head of it, or the face of it rather is what I meant. But my husband isn't that much better than me on that point, so it's like, I don't know who that will be. So yeah, don't be afraid to do what you need. Yeah, the designs are also very pretty. Thank you. Gotten dark here now, completely dark. It's 5 o'clock. Doesn't feel like it started getting lighter yet, but it's pitch black, which is depressing. Like I said, the only thing I like about summer is the sun and the brightness. It's not the heat, and that's what I don't like about the winter is the darkness. It's depressing. The work is so neat. Thank you. That makes sense. Wonder if there's an art league in your area that sets up booths at fairs that you could join and have your stuff sold in, like a traveling boutique. That's a good question. But I feel like even stuff like that, it's like I'm just so bad at the whole, I guess, sales / marketing side of it, and all the social human interaction stuff. It's like I had this literally almost a year ago, like a few months after I started crocheting. My mum was here visiting us. We went to a yarn shop to look at yarn. And my mum had been taking secret photos of what I'd made so far and brought them, and she started showing them to the woman that had the shop without me knowing them. I was just looking at yarn and she was full on showing her all the stuff, and I realised, like, what are you doing? And she said, the woman that has the shop then started saying that, oh, if that looked really good and if you're interested, like, you could see about selling some of the stuff in my shop, so bring it there, and then, you know, maybe get some materials from her, but then sell some stuff through her. And I was like, oh, that sounds great. But then after, I'm just like, I can't be the one to deal with it. I can't do that kind of thing. Like, I'd be up for doing it, but I can't be the one making the arrangement because I just don't know what to say. I just don't know what to do. And I feel so awkward, and I feel so literally don't know what to say and do. But the problem is my husband isn't really that kind of person either, so it's like, it's not like he can just do it for me. So I haven't gone back to that shop since. Not because of that, but I haven't been back to it. There's more to crafting than making it a job. There is. Only thing is, when you have made it a job and then it starts not going so well, it's like, oh shit. And then it also becomes harder to do the crafting part of it and be motivated for that. And it's like, I must stay in a shot. Actually, I haven't turned the brightness up. I should do that. That's a bit better. And we're tangled again. Speaking of tangled, making a live action, aren't they? Next on the list of live action films they're making. I keep looking at the camera because normally I have the screen on the camera, but it's not on with this setup. I don't know why. Actually, I need to look at my laptop. It literally feels like it's like midnight, how pitch black it is. It's only 5 o'clock. I find it funny sometimes when you do wire work and stuff like that, because again, talking about earlier the death grip, when you sometimes see your fingers and that, like little marks, it's like, oh, that's a perfect shape from one of the squares. And that sticks around for a while. I was gonna ask, it's about midday in America, isn't it? Thinking with the timeline, and I realised there's so many time zones in America. It's not really a statement you can make. Put so much pressure on myself. Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm just reading all that in my head. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I'm the same. Most of all the negativity, bad things, whatever you want to call it, the issues, it literally comes from one's own brain, doesn't it? I think we are ready for the next connection point. Yeah. I think you're awesome and you inspire so much. Thank you. You're pretty awesome yourself. I've seen what you do. I'm doing it again. Looking at the camera, I need to look at my laptop. See if I'm not in frame. Nope, didn't think so. And it's the thing, isn't it? We're all, well, not all necessarily, but a lot are going through so many of the same things and we don't even realise, because it's not something we talk that much about, is it? Of course. In frame, yeah. You think I'd be used to it? Only, like, I think my first video was 2013. It was like, was it? I think so. That's the thing about online as well, isn't it? No one knows what goes on behind all that. Just over halfway up one side, and I did already make the other one for this, so this will give me the set when I've made this one. For the silver, then I need to make copper version, non-beaded, which I think I made one of them. I'm not even sure. Yeah, I think I see it. Well, no, it's not finished. Partly made. And I have one silver bracelet. I'm working on the copper bracelet. And then I need to do beaded bracelet. Got one beaded silver. And another beaded silver. There's a few to go. So much has grown and changed since then. Oh, tell me about it. I think we posted our first video in 2012, but didn't start posting regularly until 2016. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 13. And I'm just like, I'm gonna say 24 now. It's 25. So that makes 12 years. No, yeah, no. 4 or 5, yeah. Well, it was November, so no, it would be November this year will be more like 12 years, but anyway. It's so weird to think about. How are you going to be binding the ends off? I'm thinking, I actually haven't officially finished any of them off yet, so it's just what I've thought to do. I'm gonna get that one. I'm thinking, because I've kind of, there we go, done the last connection point a little bit kind of more secure, and then I've wrapped the weaving wire, kind of finished that off on the inside of it, and I was just going to cut off the excess of the zigzag base wire right up close to the very last wraps. You see it in frame and focus. I've done that on previous designs. This is very weird because my screen on my camera is not working, so I can't press it. I don't know why. Oh no, I pressed something. There we go. Just cut it off there so it's kind of secured in place, and then get rid of the excess. So literally I'll put the back of my pliers right up until the very last wrap, and then basically have the end finished off like that. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm then thinking, like someone said earlier, actually making them a cuff would work perfectly, because just shape them, because the ends are kind of finished off nicely. But I was thinking just literally use the ends there, like the holes or gaps, to attach like a clasp, and like jump rings or something use, or even make one from wire. So that's my thought. And for the earrings, like this is going to be an earring, kind of the same principle. Finish off the ends of the base wires by just cutting them down, and obviously shape it, which I haven't done yet, but bring the ends together, and then either just connect them together in some way, or just have the shape, keep yourself, and use jump rings to through the natural openings of the design. Kind of use a couple of jump rings to, you know, link together, to then link into the earring finding. How did you make the zigzag base? I made that using this, the wire crinkler tool with the zigzag setting. It also comes with these that are I guess more like a squared off, we'll call that. But so far I've actually only ever used the zigzag setting, but it just gives you perfectly zigzagged wire by feeding that through. So literally it's one long length of wire. I've then at a certain point of the zigzag, like a corner, bent it to come back up the other way, and then kind of connected it together along the way. And then, like I said, for the bracelet, I've just done an extra row, I guess you could say, so it gets a bit wider, which you could equally have the narrow one be a bracelet. I think that would be quite nice as well. Personal preference. I quite like that tool. I've never seen that tool. Yeah, actually I've had it for quite a while. It came out quite a few years ago. At first I was a bit like, wonder what you can use that for, but I actually quite like it. Come up with quite a few different, design ideas. How thick of a wire does it work well with? I think officially it says 0.8, which is 20 gauge, but I've used 1mm, which is 18 gauge, no problem, and I've not had a break or anything, and I've used it quite a few times now. Yeah, that's what I really love about the tool. I think it's the whole bicone beads just works perfectly with that zigzag wire. Both these are 6mm bicone beads, and what I'm going to do for the outer edge on the bracelet, I'm going to use, they are 4 or 3mm, so they're going to be smaller and like sit more towards one side of the square, but I'm just going to keep them like on the outer edge. This is how to explain. On the inside, but kind of towards that side of this outer square is the plan. Whereas these obviously fill out the whole square with just one bead. So the center is kind of going to be the main focus, and then the outer edges on the bracelet, which I'm only going to do it on like the wider ones, or I'm going to do it for an earring, but where I don't have the center beads in, so it's just on the outer edge. They're more kind of like then a feature on the outer edges. So that's the plan. Yeah, I think those bicone beads just work perfectly with that tool. I think that's what I like so much about it. It's like so satisfying. It satisfies my brain. Sparkly goodness, yeah. Tell me about it. Sparkles, sparkles. I love sparkles. You can never have too many sparkles. That's what I do love about bicones. They're just so sparkly. Even without the AP coating, you still get the sparkle. Obviously less, but still sparkle. Making sure I'm not running over the wire. I actually am even thinking the length I have left is longer than I need for this, because I only need to do it up to here, and I still have like at least 2 meters left, and I have not used 2 meters on this, so that was a bit unnecessary, but whatever. That technique when you just spread your arms a couple of times, and yep, that length looks good enough. I always go more rather than less. Sucker for anything AP finished. Yeah, me too. I do like just like a nice base, like bicone or anything, a nice color or something, but the AP finish just, yeah, absolutely. It's just something about it. Sparkle, obviously. Same with gemstones. I do like just plain round or plain other shapes of gemstones, but when they add the facets, they're definitely just adds the sparkle and just, yeah, I'm down for that. Next connection point. get the kink. Gotta get lunch going. Thank you so much for streaming and chatting with me. It really brightened my day and made my brain happy. Thank you. Faster Jamestones, yeah, I know. Weakness. Have a good lunch, whatever you're having. I want to have some evening meals soon. Leftovers. And thank you for chatting as well. Thank you for being here. Previous wrap was wanting to join the fun. You too, thank you very much. Enjoy whatever your plans are, aside from lunch. Obviously enjoy that too, but you know what I mean. Likewise, whenever that would be. Probably gonna see about getting myself off in a bit as well. That sounded wrong. Yeah. I meant stop work and get ready for evening meal. But I got some progress on here. So the rest of this side, which I'm over halfway, but then the other side, which I've got to attach a wire to that. Note to myself, it doesn't have to be as long as this. I can probably use the rest of this for it, to be honest. But then I have the two I need for the pair of earrings for this. So they'll be done, right. And then this is the rest of them. I have almost one done for copper version. I think it's a copper bracelet I'm working on as well. I should really start writing things down. I was thinking about doing a rose gold version as well, maybe, with another colour bead. Maybe I should do one thing at a time, like one bracelet at a time, one pair of earrings at a time. I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the different versions on the go at the same time. It might be a little over the top. No wonder I don't know what the frick I'm doing. Oops. Actually, it's not too bad. I think it started all the way at the bottom, so Can't figure out where I need to be. Oh, we're halfway. That's good. And it's always when you get closer to the end, it always starts going quicker, I find. Probably because your length that you work with gets shorter as well. The less tangled mess. One more red. Actually one more. And then we'll do the next connection point. Undo a possible kink first. Trying to read at the same time. Star Blyden. Hello Christina. Feels weird saying my own name. I hope you're well. It's been some time since I watched your channel, but just saw you live. I wanted to thank you for all your tutorials. If it wasn't for you and Vaughn, I wouldn't have learnt so much. I'm now silversmith, but thank you. Wow. Thank you so much for the kind words. Silversmithing is definitely very interesting to me, anyway. Definitely an art form. A while that just wants to swap sides here. It's lovely to see you. Thank you, and you too. Well, you know, your name and your text. Thought I would try and go live again. It's been, oh my goodness. I went live quite a few years ago, a couple of times. I do not remember when that was, honestly. I feel like it was at least 5 years ago, but maybe not. Soldering has been the hardest to master. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I think I have tried soldering once or twice in my life, not in any way, in any professional way, but I could see that being something that's quite difficult to learn and master. But at the same time, I would love to be able to do it and be good at it. But it definitely is something that seems quite intimidating. I've literally just tried it with like what was it called? The at-home tool. I forget what it's called. But there is a part of me that would love to be able to do all the actual smithing stuff, the silversmithing stuff and all that. Very fascinated by it. Definitely wouldn't say no to learning it. There's a lot of stuff I would love to learn. I also would love to, there's a part of me that would love to be a, well, not necessarily be a, but learn about lapidary and like actually working with gemstones and faceting and all that kind of thing. It's fascinating as well. Plus, how amazing would it be to be able to kind of, obviously you're not making the gemstone, but make the gemstone into something that you then take it to the next step where you then turn it into a piece of jewellery, whether that's with metal or whatever. So you've created the whole process, you're not kind of building off of something someone else has made. That would be quite amazing. Oh gosh, I've been doing it for a year now and I've finally got it. Wow. You taught me a lot about wire wrapping and Kumihimo bracelets. I reckon you'd be great at silversmith. Thank you. I would love to try. But I do also think it's going to be quite a commitment, isn't it? There's also a part of me that would love to try and, like, I don't know why, but like dig for gemstones, literally find them, be able to make them into something like cabochons or beads or whatever, facet them, and then be able to fully set them into a finished piece of jewellery. That would be amazing, literally doing the whole, every step of the journey. It's also fascinating. It's very rewarding. I started soldering copper. But that's my thing as well, as learning about all the different metals, isn't it? Because that's when I looked a little bit into, like, because obviously you have silver, sterling silver, different things. But then you have, but most soldering isn't that like a silver color. So how does it work regarding using, say, copper wire or something? How do you then solder with that? Because surely you don't want to solder with a silver color on a copper metal. That's always confused me. Is there like a copper colored soldering, or how does that work? I've always wondered about that. That would be amazing, lapidary, yeah. I went to, there was like a rock gem and beads show. It was just a few times ago since we went, some years back. Where there's like different vendors. Obviously you could buy gemstones, you can buy it in jewelry form or like more raw form or things like that. But there was actually someone there that was part of like a lapidary club. I don't know if he ran it or he was just part of it, but I was just like, ooh, I'm interested. Didn't go any further with it, but definitely like very intrigued by it. So fascinating. But again, I think a big commitment. I've just always been, well, since I kind of got into it, I guess, fascinated by gemstones in general. I think just the whole process of it, finding them, turning them into whatever they're going to be. That was hard soldering copper. I used silver solder, but then had to learn how to copper plate it because the silver shows. Then I found some copper solder online. Well, that's always been my thought, because most soldering I've seen, it always tends to be like a silver color. So how do you solder copper? But you can then copper plate it after. Oh, then there is copper solder. Oh, copper colored solder or something. Because obviously the copper as a base wire, a base metal, is the easier metal to work with in the first place in the sense of accessibility, as opposed to say silver, sterling silver. But then the soldering wise, if that's more like the silver color, that doesn't really fit. So that's always confused me. So learn silversmithing on YouTube. Oh, just like when I watched you and Ron. Okay. So you literally kind of done it from scratch, kind of by yourself, or even like through, I don't know, classes and stuff like that. Well, like live, face-to-face ones. Interesting. I could do the same. I guess I've just never actually taken the time. I've just always been intrigued by it though. Metal, clay, silver, copper solder. Oh, okay. So there is actually like a copper solder you can get. Interesting. Because definitely the copper as the base metal to work with is the easier and more accessible. Because obviously there's quite the price difference. And you can't just take any silver coloured wire, because if it has a coating you obviously can't solder it. So that's good to know. I'm not against looking at that in the future and try and maybe do something more with that. Sometimes it's be so handy just to know how to solder as well. With certain pieces it's just like with wire wrapping, sometimes soldering to finish something off would be a nice kind of skill to have, I think. Because obviously the finishing off wire without the soldering can sometimes be a little bit more challenging. With the bare copper ends, you don't really, well, wire ends, you don't really want that. Definitely. And copper is so cheap, yeah, exactly. But I wasn't happy, like you say, with the silver showing. Exactly. That's always been my, like, it doesn't make sense in my head. I quickly moved on to silver, buying from Rio Grande because it's cheaper to buy than in the UK, even with shipping and all that. And I'm guessing, assuming import duties and stuff, because I've definitely heard about that before, but I wouldn't have thought it'd be cheaper with the shipping and all that. It's got to be a copper to solder. Interesting. Now you're giving me new thoughts. Maybe I should look at it again. Well, thank you for that info. I'll store that in the back of my head. I always had a little bit of that urge as well. Like, I love wire wrapping and other things, but sometimes I always had a little bit of like, I do want something more as well. Not instead of, but just like to add. I wouldn't have thought it'd be cheaper with shipping and everything. That's quite amazing. There's such a big difference. That's kind of why I never bothered looking at some of those sites, because I could just assume it wouldn't make sense once you start with the shipping and then import duties and stuff like that. But I guess it all depends. Thank you. And that is the question. Only one way to find out. I just have to look more into it at some point. Try and satisfy that curiosity. Thank you for that info. You re-sparked my curiosity. I don't know why I'm still looking out the window. It's like I already said it's pitch black. It's only later now. Freaking feels like midnight. And no huge difference. Rio Grande rather than Cooks on Gold in the UK. I also import gems from the US, but also from Instagram, I think. We did the unboxing gems from Instagram. Kent in the UK. I can't picture Kent. Cabochons for sale. Yeah, well, that's a long time ago. Eesh. I probably should know where Kent is, but I can't picture it. Chat about cakes. Nice name. I could chat about cakes. It's not a bad thing to chat about. And yes, evening. It is evening now. Pitch black evening. For a while yet. You'd think I could stay in frame. Don't you have a shop, Christina? Yep, I do. As in online. I do still have an Etsy, but also a website. Should all be linked in the description box. I think it should be linked in the live chat. So, not the chat. Description box for this. Don't mind the dark mornings, but not so keen on the dark days. It's just before noon where I am in New Orleans. Just before noon. So that would be 6 hours ahead, behind. Yeah, well, it's just before 6 o'clock in the evening here, but it looks like it's midnight. You can definitely see if you get up like early to go to work. Like my husband here gets up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. It can be kind of depressing. Or even if you sometimes you like get up to go to work, it's dark, and when it's dark again when you come home from work, it's like so freaking depressing. You don't get that bit of sunlight, because that bit of sunlight, while that's out, you're working. I don't think it'll be too much longer though before we can start to feel it getting a bit lighter, I hope. It's, yeah, 5:45. Yeah, we only have one time zone, so it's not that difficult. I'll check out your shop. Thank you. Yeah, it's just, it literally gets, it's been like an hour already, if not more. It's been this dark. It feels like it's midnight. That's how dark it is. And it's somewhere like, I'm pretty sure it's between Christmas and New Year's, which is the shortest day of the year. So it's been like almost a month since then. I would have thought we could have started feeling a bit of a difference now, but I don't feel it. You can feel it yet. Yeah, that sucks. Getting caught on the beast wire. I'm pretty sure the length I have left here is going to be enough for the other side as well. I didn't need to be working with as long a length this whole time. Oh well. That's what you get when you have a tendency to overestimate things. I guess rather that than the opposite though. Actually, I'm getting kind of closer to the end now. Probably actually close to like a fourth left rather than a third. Got some progress done. But yeah, it's almost 6, so it's about evening meal time. What are you making? Well, this specifically is going to turn into an earring along with this, so obviously they're going to get like shaped into either a round, so that would be from the side. They would either have like a round shape and the ends will meet up, or round or teardrop shape, I'm thinking. And then this is a bit wider. I've made a bracelet version. So these are like without beads. I'm then also going to make some where I'm adding beads. So this is like some 6mm baricones down the center. And I also have some, they are 4mm. I thought they were 4mm, where these I'm going to add, for instance, the bracelet. Because the bracelet is wider, I'm thinking I'm going to add the large beads in the middle there in the same way. Because it's wider, I'm then going to add on the outer corners there, that are coming out. On the very outer row, I'm going to then add smaller beads to the outer corners. Whereas on the earrings, because they're narrower, I'm doing a version where I'm just adding the larger beads in the middle, and then I'm going to do a version where I'm just adding the smaller beads on the outer edges on both sides, just to kind of show different variations of them. So that is what I'm working on. So it's a long flat piece, but it's going to turn into bracelet slash earrings. In different variations, quite a few. I'm also doing some with copper wire and other colour beads. There's quite a bit to go. But I'm getting there. Yeah, I think they're quite nice as well. It's like a complete opaque one, and then you have that tealy blue, but with clarity. I think they go really well together. And I think I originally planned it that I'm then also using like the clear ones with AB, because I didn't get the opaque ones in the smaller beads, so I must have thought to use clear AB. I assume it's a while ago since I ordered the beads, so I don't remember. But yeah, I love blue and silver together. That is very lovely. So elegant. Blue and rose gold as well. Blue and copper goes, but there's just something about the blue and silver that's just very elegant. I've never seen anyone crochet wire like you can. Thank you. I actually have something I've been keeping secret for a long time. I've been planning to do something with it for a long time, but I haven't yet. But I've been planning to do more like either a course or like, I don't know. I should just show you rather than talk, why not? Since you mentioned wire crochet, I done some boxes with it. Actually, full-on boxes. I've been wanting to do something more with for ages. Just haven't really, I guess, found the right thing to do. Other than, I don't know. I was thinking like more like a course rather than just tutorials or individual videos. I actually did my original. I knew I made 9. I think we got married. My husband and I got married in 2019. I think. I made my own ring box with silver, which is not in here. I think it's downstairs. But anyway, out of wire crochet, and then I added some, actually, funnily enough, AB bicones on top to add the sparkle. So that was quite a while ago, obviously. So I've kind of been wanting to do something with this for ages. I just haven't yet, other than made some boxes. But yeah, I like them as well. And then filled with jewellery. So yeah, any ideas are welcome. Obviously the ring box was more like this size. I did it in silver with the AB, clear AB, yeah, for the sparkle. Yeah, I think because we met, because that's it. We got married, so we purposely so it'd be easy to remember, because I came to UK 2008, we met 2009. Our first date was on the 5th of September 2009. We got married exactly 10 years later on the 5th of September, which must then be 2019, which is now, this year will be 6 years ago. Oh my. Purposes so it'd be easier to remember, so you only have to remember one date for first date, anniversary of the first date, and wedding anniversary. Yeah, I still am not sure sometimes. Yeah, the bows. Yeah, I always was really pleased with them. Really liked how they turned out. All this jewellery should be my own personal stuff that I like, size-wise and stuff. So yeah, that ring fits me. That I occasionally wear. On the rare occasion that I go outside my house. Yeah, full of stuff. You remember the first date? So yeah, I do. Partly because we then purposely got married on the same date, exactly 10 years later. That makes it a little easier. That was more important to me than, I don't know, waiting a couple of years to have a big wedding or something. I'd rather wanted to get married on that 10th anniversary of our first date. Thanks for that advice. Did I give advice? What did I say? I don't remember. But you're welcome. Yes, supposedly. Yeah, I still am not sure what year we got married. I have to really think about it. And honestly, the only way I remember is by remembering that I came here in 2008, which means we must have met. The first date must have been 2009, which means the wedding must have been 2019. Oh. Yeah, I think I'd be lost if we hadn't done that. I wouldn't have a clue. I literally have to get a tattoo on my arm or something saying it so I could look at it. Yeah, it must have been. Yeah. Like, if it makes sense, it makes sense. If it's logical, you can't be wrong. Anyway, I think now is probably the perfect time. It's actually coming to. I like having times like that, so it makes things easy to remember, don't I? I started at 3, a couple of minutes past, because it wasn't working properly. I think it's about food time here, and I'm a little hungry, So I think I'm going to see about going down and getting leftovers in the works. But I got good progress. Actually not bad at all. Almost got one whole side completed. And like I said before, the end always goes quicker. Probably because you have a shorter length to work with, but because you can see close to the end, so you work faster. I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna go down, get some to eat, and then work on this further and get some videos filmed of it as well along the way. So these will be turning into some tutorials soon, hopefully. So thank you so much for joining me, and enjoy your meal if that's the time for you, whether it's lunch or dinner. And hopefully I'll see you next time. I don't know when next time will be, but we'll find out. But I might see you then. So thank you for joining me, and hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed, and I'll see you. Bye. If I can figure out how to close this. Thank you so much, and you too.